me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue. I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall, and if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.
Welcome to Open Mic America. I'm Daphne Ramil, your MC, and Robert Edgar is our interviewer, and Capo Dave Williams is our engineer, and also the founder of this wonderful show, and the creator and builder of Dandy Hybrid Guitars, which you'll hear about a little later. Our mission is to support your local open mics where you can go in person to see songwriters performing their original music. But tonight, thanks to technology, we get to travel all around the country and see those very same performers in their own living rooms. Without gimmicks and frills, this is the DNA of American music, a tapestry of story and song that's been weaving us together for generations. And now, let's introduce all of tonight's performers. We have Bill Palmer from Jekyll Island, Georgia. We have Wendy Watson from Fort Mills, South Carolina. Diane Battistello from Norton, Massachusetts. Dave Fiebert from Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Kevin Kelso from Los Angeles, California. And we have Ann Sandstrom from Burlington, Massachusetts. Cowboy Rex from Phoenix, Arizona. Bet Paget from Raleigh, North Carolina. And sadly, we're going to have to hear Lawrence Campling another time. He was not able to come today because of an emergency. Anyway, let us start our show with our first performer, Bill Palmer from Jekyll Island, Georgia. And he likes to play at the Jekyll Island, Georgia Arts Festival. He likes to play at Seagulls in St. Mary's. He likes to play at Palm Coast, St. Simon's Island, I think. That's the one. And here we are with Bill.
I guess it's me. Can you hear me all right? Okay. All right, this is called Driving Through Memphis. If you can imagine driving near Memphis at night in the summertime, road trip by yourself, not particularly happy in the middle of the night. I'm gonna miss you in the summer. I'm gonna miss you in the fall. I'm gonna miss you in the morning. Might miss you when you call. And I'm driving through Memphis in the middle of the night. The smell of cut hay and rain makes a thick perfume, and my eyes are heavy. I'm looking for a room. Driving through Memphis, windows down in the middle of the night. All those things you said stuck inside my head, and it's playing like a movie of a book I haven't read. I like the burned out letters of the truck stop signs up ahead. I like the burned out letters of the truck stop signs up ahead. Skimming across those bridges of the muddy Mississippi, I can feel your breath in the flickering light. And I know the Mississippi's gonna sing to me tonight. The hissing of the rain and the singing of those tires and the stinging smoke from the smoldering fire. Keep me awake through the night in the darkest hour. Skimming across those bridges of a muggy Mississippi, I can hear your voice, it's ringing in my ear. And in the mirror view mirror, our bridges slowly disappear. In the rear view mirror, our bridges slowly disappear. I'm gonna miss you in the summer, I'm gonna miss you in the fall, I'm gonna miss you in the morning, I miss you when you call. And I hope you'll call in the middle of the night. When I'm driving through Memphis, windows down in the middle of the night. When I'm driving through Memphis, windows down in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful.
All right, well. Coast of very southern Georgia, not quite in Florida. It's called Chasing the Frog in the Garden for no particularly good reason, but. Don't know where I'm going, gonna find a new place, well, somewhere different in time and in space. The Spanish moss in the wind and salt in the air, mysterious voices from everywhere in the trees. Well, it's gonna feel hotter with the sweat on my face. The crickets at night, an alligator might be any place. Spanish moss in the wind and salt in the air, mysterious voices from everywhere in the trees. Well, sitting in that low spot in time and in space, well, I'm slowing way down just to find a new pace, till time and space is just space. Don't know where I'm going, gonna find a new place, well, somewhere different in time and in space. Spanish moss in the wind and salt in the air, mysterious voices from everywhere in the trees. Just sitting in that low spot in time and in space. Well, I'm slowing way down just to find a new pace, till time and space is just space.
Wow, that was amazing.
Great guitar.
Ah, yes. You always play such whimsical things. I love it. Oh, let's hand you over to Robert to have a nice little conversation about your music.
Or anything else. If there's anything going on, I'm not sure.
I don't know. No hurricane, so that's good.
Ah, there we are. And well, wait long enough. You'll
Yeah.
have something.
Well,
I'm sure the year has something for you too. The yeah, I was going to ask you about influences on your on these songs for your guitar work, especially. Who do you think are influences on that?
I guess all over the place. I mean, just
Mm-hmm.
I guess Norman Blake, although that doesn't particularly sound like him. Leo Kaki, though it doesn't particularly sound like him.
Uh-huh.
Andre Segovia, even though it doesn't sound anything like him.
Right.
Just really nice guitar players. I don't have a good memory for remembering whole songs, but when I hear something I like, I do remember it. And so I guess as I'm playing, those sounds, kind of jump back. I think, So.
Uh-huh.
You know how it is. You're noodling around and you hear a sound and go, oh, that sounds like that, And so then maybe I go in that direction and and I guess I try to listen to technique, the way they hold the notes, the way they pick the notes or play the notes, particularly.
Yes, your playing sounded very careful. The technique.
These particular ones, yeah, some of them
Yeah.
are not so careful, but yeah, these are very.
Right,
In
nice
fact, that
thick
first one is
scrum
what I
through.
found with that first song is actually it's not a great song to play first. It's not particularly difficult, but it's of a type where if you have any nervousness at all, it will manifest itself. It's one of those songs. It just really
Right.
exposes you.
Right.
And the other one, the second one, probably sounds more difficult, but it has a nice flow to it and is a freer form. So if you happen to have an excursion, you can just play around it, and just be okay.
Yeah, they were a nice blend of melody and nice chord choices
Well,
on
thank you.
there. It was very easy to listen and
Yeah, I guess that's something I try to do. I try not to. I do play in genres sometimes, but I also will. I think we all do. We have an idea for a song, and you try to come up with a different form, and whether it's a different form or not. But it's not necessarily a structure that's a standard structure. It breaks the rules, if you will.
Sure,
But
sure.
it tells a story. In a way that's different.
Yeah, it's yeah, when I mean there are poetic forms that if one writes poetry, one can follow the form and see what one can do within it. Um, Outside, when you're playing music, it would be it's something different to build something, to construct something to a memory or a place or a feeling
Yeah,
than it
exactly.
is
Yeah,
to
the standard things that are the structures of the popular music or semi-popular music that we all try to emulate or think up new stuff.
yeah,
It's
doing
fun to
the
try to make something that's a little different. Yeah.
yeah, to do the same thing would be like paint by numbers, it seems to me. Okay, here's a paint by numbers song, and now I'll do some lyrics.
Here's a thought. Now I got something for all you guys. This is something. This isn't, and obviously nobody has an original thought, but here's the thought. It's like if in painting, if you would go and accurately copy somebody else's work, you would be a forger.
Mm.
So when you go out to a club, what do you hear? People accurately copying other people's work. Are they forgers? I don't know. Music's kind of different because it's like people compose music for other people to play, where painting,
Right.
it's like that's yours.
Well, I
And
used
if you
to
try to copy it too much, it becomes too derivative, and then you're not any good, right? You know what I mean?
well, I used to say, well, I wrote the song. Well, I didn't actually come up with these notes. They were for me. And the scale, well, I picked up the scale, and that was right. The tuning is what's usually there, and it is a guitar that I bought.
Right, exactly.
So that's not mine, but and the words, I am,
Those
this
are
is
unique.
English, and I'm going from there. So you can work yourself back and slowly blend yourself into the culture from which you extracted the song that you do.
Yeah, I think it's great that we get to copy. I mean,
I think so. I think though that there's a place for original mistakes too.
yeah,
I
well,
think
there you
that
go.
those are probably good things and help us
Well, how many times have you
kick.
made a mistake and that became like another song? You
Oh,
know?
absolutely, absolutely. Hey, always good to hear you, Bill,
Thank
and
you very much. Enjoy being here. This
we'll
is
do
great.
this again.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Well, gee, that was fun. Thank you. And now we are going to go over to South Carolina, Fort Mill, South Carolina. We're going to hear Wendy Watson. And she gave us a really long list of places that she plays or recommends to go hear the acoustic music in the open mic. And here it is: the Cabin in Davidson, North Carolina, the Wine Afton at Afton Village in Concord, North Carolina, Southern Strain in Charlotte, Hop and Vine in Davidson, Wired Coffee in Kannapolis, I think that's how you say it, North Carolina, Olive's Mud Puddle. That's funny, there's a mud puddle in California too, in Niles. Fort Mill, South Carolina, and Amor Artis in Fort Mill, South Carolina. And Open Mic America. That's where Wendy Watson is right now. Take it away, Wendy.
Yes, ma'am. So both songs I'm gonna do are kind of steeped in my childhood. So the first one, the folk music community lost Peter Yarrow recently from Peter, Paul, and Mary. And when I was a kid, my dad had friends that he had been in a folk band in college, and they had each been in folk bands, but they were all different folk bands, but they would come over and play at our house, and I grew up hearing that. And that's where I think my love of folk music began. And so that's what this song is about. It's called Good Old Folk Songs. One Saturday night a month, men with guitars joined my dad on the carport instead of our cars. I'd listen to them play, and they planted a seed. The beauty of the question, the sadness of its need. And I still don't know where all the flowers have gone, but I hope I never lose those good old folk songs. The rhythm of the picking, it matched my beating heart. Songs about a better world, I wanted to do my part. At only 5 years old, they'd let me sing along. Inside of the music, the only place I ever belonged. And I don't know if we'll catch that answer blowing in the wind, but deep in my heart, I hope those folk songs never end. And when it was time for bed, so I wouldn't make a scene, they'd break into a chorus of Good Night Irene. I'll see you in my dreams, and I still don't know where all the flowers have gone, but I hope I never lose those good old folk songs. Those good old folk songs.
the quotation you did. That was great.
Thank you. So this next one is also about growing up in that neighborhood. I lived in a little neighborhood called Baker Place. Back before you played on cell phones and stuff, you went outside and played in the creek and stuff like that. And my favorite smell back then, and probably to this day, is honeysuckle. And that's the name of this song, Honeysuckle. When I was just a kid, I'd run down the street to a place where neighborhood kids would meet. And we'd jump in the lake just to beat the heat, cool off by the bushes. The honeysuckle tasted so sweet. It was a time of butter cookies and Kool-Aid, and random things in the yard became bases for a softball game. And when you took off your training wheels, you could join in the neighborhood race. What I wouldn't give to be a kid again, where the honeysuckle grew in Baker Place. Honeysuckle, blow my way. You make me feel like things will be okay. And when this old world is too much for me, honeysuckle, set me free. Now my bicycle tires have been replaced by car wheels, on the way to work to make another business deal. But I roll down my window as I'm going down a hill. The smell of honeysuckle changes everything about the way I feel. Honeysuckle, blow my way. You make me feel like things will be okay. And when this old world is too much for me, honeysuckle, set me free. Back in those days of childhood fun, we never walked anywhere, all we did was run. And looking back now on all the neighbor kids, did our carefree days really have to end? Wish that I could taste honeysuckle like that again. Honeysuckle, blow my way. You make me feel like things will be okay. And when this old world is too much for me, honeysuckle, set me free. When this old world is too much for me, honeysuckle, set me free.
Oh, yeah.
Aww.
Real nice.
Yeah.
Could go for some of that honeysuckle. Sounds great.
Yeah.
It's a
You
southern
sure
thing.
had a good growing up, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Okay, well, let's hand you over to Robert now.
Hi, Robert.
Hey, Wendy, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Uh, yeah, it's something, music and a family, isn't it? And I've seen it in different cultures, but uh, it is so close to the heart when it's there. So that is your, so when you were 5, they started asking you to sing along. Is that?
They did. Actually, even before that, my mom was our church pianist. And
Yeah.
back then, they didn't get child care just because there was one kid there. So even when I was tiny, 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 I'd sit under the piano while she practiced with soloists and kind of scooch up against the piano, and I'd feel the rhythm of the music. And then my dad would play the guitar, and they'd let me sing with them. So it was always there.
When you say you felt the rhythm of the music, that was against your back from the
Yeah,
piano?
yeah. My
That's
husband
lovely.
swears that's where I learned to strum to catch the rhythm with it.
Yeah, right, right. Um, there was an aside. Uh, there was a club in San Francisco called the Deaf Club, where they had a punk uh, club underneath, and the people on the floor above actually were deaf, and they could feel the music through the
Wow.
floor. Take off their shoes and feel the music there through the floor. Um, and the feeling that is so much. I remember also in New York, I went to a concert, early concert by a fellow named Steve Reich, and it was in a place called the Kitchen, and it was wood floors, and I sat 10 feet away from two bassoons, or they may have been bass clarinets, but I could feel the this beat through there, and I still can. It takes me back. The Do you have children now?
I have two stepchildren. They're all grown up. They were 6 and 11 when I met their daddy, and one of them turned 31 today. Happy birthday, Emma! And Zach is 26.
And did you play music with them?
Yes, actually, they would call it the Watson Family Jam. They all play music. My husband's a bass player. Zach plays drums. Emma can play drums. Emma can play keyboard. We used to love to play music together. They don't live here now. Zach's married and off in Texas, and Emma is getting married this year. She's in Colorado. But
That
when we get
happens.
together, we sure do play music together. Yes.
Isn't that great? And to have the songs in common also
Mm-hmm.
is something that happens perhaps less and less with with the media we have and iPhones, and we have all have our own earpods to listen to our own music. That
Garrison Keeler talked about that. We saw Garrison Keeler do Prairie Home Companion, and he said, as long as we all know the same songs, we'll be one country, and soon we won't be. It was a quote that stayed with me.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's quite true. That is truer than we might wish.
Hmm.
Uh, I think that's a shame. I mean, I'm all for and always have been for people writing their own music, and they're all songs. But there is an aspect to the shared music that's very important to family and society. I think that
Absolutely.
is there.
That first song, Good Old Folk Songs, that's kind of when Peter Yarrow died. I was like, we don't have Peter and Mary of Peter, Paul, and Mary anymore. We don't have Woody Guthrie. We don't have Pete Seeger. I mean, I feel like those are the people that were really America's music that
Oh,
wrote, like the Kingston Trio used to say, Gigi, the people's key. They wrote the songs that everybody could sing along to.
yes,
And
absolutely.
there's a lot of that that's gone now.
I have to put another personal note in there. Um, when you mentioned Peter, Paul, and Mary, I was and still am proud to have shared a joint with Lenny Lipton, who was one of the co-writers of Puff the Magic Dragon. So there are all sorts of things we share through our music.
I have a very funny Mary Travers story. She did a solo concert when I was about 24. and I'd never seen her solo, and my dad got us tickets. And she went into a spiel about Puff the Magic Dragon that she was not going to sing it. And the whole crowd kind of collectively, oh no. And she said, well, I'm in my 70s and I only ever sang the chorus and the harmony. I don't remember the verses, but if anybody remembers the verses, I'll sing it. And I took off, and I thought other people would come. And before I know it, I'm at the very front of the Newberry Opera House all by myself. And she said, well, come on up here.
Wonderful. Oh, fantastic. And with your family, you certainly were brought up to be able to stand up there and sing and not worry about it.
Right.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you, Wendy, for
Thank
your
you.
time and for singing. I so enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you, Wendy. And I love that conversation. I say music is not a spectator sport. I mean, sometimes it is, but really it's participatory, and that's important for all of us. Wow, I loved hearing all that. So now we're going to go to Massachusetts, Norton, Massachusetts. Diane Battistello, welcome back. Diane likes to play at the Dun Cow Virtual Open Mic every other Thursday in England. Oh, yeah. The Mediator Stage in Providence, Rhode Island. The PCA Open Mic in Westford, Massachusetts. Okay, the stage is yours, Diane.
Thanks. I left a couple of open mics off there because I know Anne is going to say some that I go to as well. And then I want to mention yesterday I was at the Bunkhouse, which is sponsored by Cowboy Rex, who'll be coming up in just a little while. And he's on Saturday. I guess it's 9 your time, Cowboy. It's noontime here, or 10 now with the time change. So there's sure a lot of open mics that bring us a lot of joy. This song is from Mike Simpson, who does the hosting sometimes, and he asked me the last time that I was here if I would play this for him, so here it is. It's called Gold, Diamonds, and Tin Ore, and it's about the conflict minerals, or the rare earth minerals. They're in a lot of places. This particular song is about them in the Congo. It's a very sad story. It involves child labor, slavery, human trafficking. They mine with picks and shovels, and they dig their ways through to make tunnels. And the guards, they're on different sides, the rebels and the armies, and they dress up in each other's uniforms, so you don't really know who's the good guy and who's not the good guy. And there's a lot of abuse and things, and murder, and anyway, the song will tell the story. Deep in the Congo, riches abound, minerals abundant in the ground. Rebels and armies, they keep the country at war, so they can't steal all the gold, the diamonds, tin ore. Fear creeps through the jungle, gunshots surround. Smoke fills the horizon and the village burns down, down, down. And out into the night, families flee, and they know if they get caught, they'll live their lives in slavery. They'll be forced to dig gold, diamonds, tin ore. Children, little children, abducted every night, force-fed cocaine and alcohol, and handed an AK-47, they're made to fight. Well, black market minerals are smuggled up and down the hills. Little children know Little children dressed like soldiers know if they don't shoot those guns, they'll be killed. Gold, diamonds, tin ore. Why? Why? Minerals, hot commodity used by every single high-tech company. Your smartphone, your laptop, our cars, every single circuit board. It's all fuel for the war on the gold, diamonds, tin ore. Why do these people, native people, live such tortured lives? And why must little children be forced to carry weapons? Why must they be forced to fight? The riches in the ground lie just below their feet. And it's a handsome profit for somebody else, for somebody else, for somebody else to keep. Gold, diamonds, tin ore. Stop the war. Stop the war. Stop.
Awesome.
Remember I told you my dog was going to get up? She's right here. She was
We
sound
heard her
asleep.
for a second. Yeah.
You did? Hi, Molly. All right, go sit down. So I'm going to lighten it up with something kind of fun. I've been singing an awful lot of protest songs lately, and going to lighten it up. This actually was a prompt. I write a lot of songs from prompts, and the prompt on this was Little Egg. Oopsie, hold on. Strong coffee when I wake up, thick as molasses, baby, fill my cup. Smooth as sunshine, joy to wake up to, that's what I like about me and you. Morning's my favorite time of the day. Little egg, little pancakes, and marmalade. Sweet, sweet kisses taste a lot like honeydew, and that's what I like. That's what I like about me and you. At times throughout the day, I recall the words you say, and I thank my lucky stars that I'm with you. But every now and again, I get a feeling things might end, and you touch my heart and soul, and I'm renewed. Late in the evening when the sun goes down, you and me, baby, out on the town. We got sweet, sweet kisses and a little something taboo. That's what I like about me and you. That's what I like about me and you. Thank you. Much.
Gorgeous.
And we did catch a glimpse of your black dog.
Nah. I knew she was. That's why I told you before the show. She's probably gonna wake up. She's a big girl. She's 15.
Well, it's time to talk to Robert.
Diane, I'm almost speechless. I absolutely love both songs, especially your first one there.
Thank you.
What the use of the percussion with the guitar body and everything gave a space in there that seemed deep as a mine. I wonder, how did you happen to match the lyrics to that approach for the song?
So let me tell you the story of this song. I was at a weekend retreat someplace in New York, and I was sitting next to this gentleman at I can't remember what class it was, and he was telling me he was from a group called Falling Whistles, and I had never heard of them. And they were an organization that was supporting children. The armies would give kids whistles, and they'd send them out on the conflict line, on the front line, and the enemy, of course, they're just going to get shot, right? And they would just fall down like falling whistles. And so he told me the story of that, and I was just like stunned for the rest of the weekend. And I came home and I started doing the research on it. It actually took me 4 years to put it all together, because I would start doing the research and it was just too much for me to take. I had to put it away. And then I had gone to a songwriter retreat with David Roth and Reggie Harris, Cozy Sheraton, down in Provincetown in the winter. And they have like a session where you can sit with people. And I sat with Reggie, and he listened to the way I had the song, and he said, no, you need to have percussion with that. And I didn't really know kind of how to do that. And so I worked with John Baptista, who's a guitar teacher in the Rain Taunton area. And so he helped me with the percussion on it. So it all kind of came together. But I had a lot of help from a lot of people with it.
Well, you pulled it together well, and
Thank you.
and that was wise to put it with those lyrics. Yeah, it sounded like something that had been researched, and that there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that in a very positive way. I mean, I don't know how to tell if someone's actually done research, but sometimes that is really the case. That and Randy Newman is someone that I think of who, on some songs he actually does a good deal of research, and it doesn't mean that it's filled with facts all the time, but just the right touch here and there, come through, and you can feel that.
Thank you. I do that a lot because, and now with the internet, it's so easy. Before you used to have to like go to the library and, or go through the newspapers, but sometimes you're just missing a little something in a song, and so you just kind of Google it and read through the things, and you're like, okay, that'll fit, or not the words, but that, that idea will fit in there. So I think it's become easier to do songwriting since I've had access to the internet right at my fingertips.
Yes, well, so much of our life has gotten it's
Right.
gotten easier to research, I think, with the internet. And then, of course, if you do it well, that's always good.
Thank you.
And I think you did. Yeah, there is a history of percussion with guitar, and we don't hear it a lot, but when we do, Brazil has a tradition of a lot of percussive guitar playing,
Right.
and that so there's that thread that can inform what we're doing. But
I
that
was
was
watching this young lady doing percussion with Brazilian music just on the internet the other day. I was floored.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's very good. Yeah. Yep.
it's yeah the yeah. So what are you working on now?
Trying to learn some blues. I don't really play the blues at all. It's just not an area I've ever ventured into. So that's what I'm working on, and I am taking guitar lessons for that. I don't take lessons all the time, but when I'm working on something I can't figure it out, I'm lucky that there are people that I know that'll take you for 3 or 4 lessons and just work with you through you get through the songs.
Yeah, that's great. And to bring it in for a song, if you're working on something that's not quite right, go and get some I think
No, I
that's wonderful.
think that's the biggest mistake I made, or I didn't really know that you could do that. So when I first started playing the guitar, my story's kind of funny. Like my family, they used to tease me a lot, and I wanted to play guitar, but I was afraid to do it at home because I thought I would get teased. So I had moved to Vermont with some friends in the 70s, and the first thing I did was get a guitar and take lessons. And he taught me how to finger pick. He was a wonderful guy. But then I stayed with him a couple years, and then I went someplace else for a couple years, and then I didn't know that you could just like go someplace for 3 or 4 lessons or for a song. So that was one of the big things that I learned about taking lessons. You know, you don't have to sign up with somebody, you take them for 5 years. You just take them,
Right.
you know, till you get through something you're trying to learn.
That's great. Well, you apply what you learned very well.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Diana. I've really,
Nice to be here.
really
Good to see you.
enjoyed your music. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, that's a wonderful thing for everybody out there to hear also, that you don't need to dedicate yourself with one teacher seriously, everything they assign you, but you can learn what you want to learn when you're an adult and you know what that is. So that's great. That's great. Well, who are we going to hear next? It's going to be Dave Fiebert from Wallingford, Pennsylvania. And he plays at Galluccio's, I think it's called, in Wilmington, Delaware, Epic Pizza in Media, Pennsylvania, Kelly Center in, I think it's Haverton, Pennsylvania. If it's not, then he can correct me. Okay, Dave, take it away.
Thank you, Daphne. Yeah, that's Havertown. You had it just right. So, I'm going to play 2 songs tonight, and the first one is called "Take It." Life is a puzzle. Some shadow, some shine. Pieces fall together, all in good time. Moments burst like kids at play. The picture gets richer day by day. Take it easy. Take one step at a time and let that road unwind. Make it breezy. Life's a dance, not a race. It's all about your pace. The map's in shreds. The road's not straight. Path keeps shifting, saying, choose your fate. Wander and wonder, curiosity guides. The best could be waiting on either side. Take it easy. Take one step at a time and let that road unwind. Make it breezy. Life's a dance, not a race. It's all about your pace. Each step you take brings a story to tell. Wherever you dwell, no need to rush. Look for the signs. A treasure waits when the stars align. A treasure waits when the stars align. Turn down the noise. Let the quiet in. The world speaks softly to you from within. Under stars, silence rings true. Song of twilight calls to you. Take it easy. Take one step at a time and let that road unwind. Make it breezy. Life's a dance, not a race. It's all about your pace. Take it slow, feel the music rise. Every note's a sweet surprise. Take it steady, find the glow. Feel the rhythm, let it grow. Take it slow, feel the music rise. Every note's a sweet surprise. Take it steady, find the glow. Feel the rhythm, let it grow. Take it steady, find the glow. Feel the rhythm, let it grow.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. And this other one, the little title came to me and this showed up. It's called Small Town, Big Storm. Locked the house, left a note. That's it, we're leaving. Bound for parts we hope to find. Chasing dreams we once believed in. Pine trees tall and snapping. Rivers rage like unleashed hell. Memories drift downstream. Our home now just a shell. Our town lies torn apart before our eyes and our ears. The life we knew has slipped away. The path ahead unclear. Small town, big storm, and we're soaked to the bone. Small town, big storm. Will we ever make it home again? No life in the houses. The town's power is down. Sandbags sink underwater. We hike upward for higher ground. Up ahead there's shelter, an old shack on the hill. I draw you closer, bending fate to our will. Rain drips down your face, the storm mirrors in your eyes. When in the calm of your voice an angel hides. I've never seen you look so sweet, or seen the tears shine in your eye, wading through troubles deep, saving tears for long goodbyes. Small town, big storm, and we're soaked to the bone. Small town, big storm, will we ever make it home again? Small town, big storm, and we're soaked to the bone. Small town, big storm, will we ever make it home again? Thank you.
Bravo, Dave. Bravo. Wow, that was great. And now we're going to send you over to Robert.
Hello,
Hey,
Robert.
Dave. Hello, Dave. I love, especially the title, Small Town Big Storm is great because you have the small and big, which are opposites,
Yeah.
but then town and storm aren't opposites. And so, but they kind of live within the space that's set up between small and big.
That's
Uh,
how I saw it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really nice title and of
Yeah.
course a nice song that you put around it.
It was kind of based on that Hurricane Helene that blew through Asheville. So when
Yeah,
that whole thing hit, I saw all these helpless people, and I thought, you know, small town, big storm.
yeah.
So that's where it came from.
Were you walking in it or not?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania. I was very far away from it,
Okay.
but just seeing the pictures and reading the articles about it. So it's just,
Yeah.
you know, how helpless people are to nature. So
What do you usually write about when you're writing?
well, I don't know.
Is there an answer to that to
No,
that
there's not
question?
really an answer to that. I've got a co-writer,
Yeah.
fellow by the name of Walt Hakey, who lives up out of Princeton, and I'm down here in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. So we've known each other. I've told this story many times before, but we found each other again online after being in bands in college,
Uh-huh.
and so now we correspond and write mostly through the internet now. But so he'll come up with the title, and then we start to share lyrics. So these two selections were the first one, that Take It, was really his song. Now, he's not a singer or a songwriter. He's a songwriter, but not a singer. So
Hmm.
he gets on a piano and plays a couple of keys and says, I think this might be a possible melody. So then
Yeah.
it falls down on my lap, and I take it from there. So, but he's quite the lyricist, and then Small Town Big Storm. I came up with that whole concept, and he said, we have something here. Let's get specific with it. So then we just kept drilling down until, you know, the both of us were really pleased with the way that lyric turned out. And I think it's a good little song.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's uh uh very lucky to have someone who you can work with
Yeah,
like that.
collaborators is amazing. It's a great process. You know, you sort of have to give a little bit of your ego over, and
Uh-huh.
you know, but it's worth the price.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have someone I've worked with a number of folks along the line helping me get
Yeah, it
bang
gets
my songs into
the songs
place.
get better. I mean, they really do. You
Yeah.
know, you got, you know, shoulder to lean on and somebody to to bite down with, and yeah, it's a good process.
So you've been playing in bands since you were in high school or
Yeah,
college?
yeah, playing in bands in high school and then through college, and then I, you know, took some time off and, you know, raised some kids and got back to the guitar. And you know, my main instrument is the bass. So
Yeah.
six string is not new to me, but you know, I'm still toying with it.
Uh-huh. The so six string bass, you say?
No, four string bass,
Oh, okay.
but playing just acoustic, you know, folk
Acoustic.
guitars.
Uh-huh.
I've always, you know, fiddled around with them, but I never got serious until we started writing some music and playing, and you know, because in the bands I always played bass, so that just came natural.
It seems that playing bass is must be quite supportive for songwriting. I find
It,
that we get some good songwriters who are bass players. Start there.
that's good. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's very true. At least I've seen that. Um, yeah, there's something about knowing where your chords are going and where they're coming from, and with you can set that down on the bass and then work your harmonies from that.
Yeah, I always my approach to the guitar when I was really getting going was like if I can find three notes that go together, then I can start to figure out the chords.
Uh-huh.
Two notes you can't, but you need that third note in there. Like, oh, okay, that's going to color it, and that's the direction that the chord's going to go into. So
Yeah.
that's that's the way I run.
Well, very good. Keep it up, and hope to hear you again here.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Robert.
Well, thank you so much, Dave and Robert. And now for a public service announcement. Did anyone say free guitar? Everyone who's on the show, performers and volunteer hosts alike, because all of us are volunteers, you get a ticket in the fishbowl for the annual drawing for one of Capo Dave's Dandy Hybrid guitars. So I bet you're wondering, what is a Dandy Hybrid? Well, this is an acoustic guitar unique in design that projects its distinctive sound at a considerably higher volume than the flat top guitars. Whether it's an open mic, a circle jam, a campfire, or an open boxcar on a moving train, a Dandy Hybrid delivers. So learn about the Dandies and hear them played on the website, dandyguitars.com, and there's a link in the YouTube, and you'll find a link to the Dandy Hybrids at the bottom of the openmicamerica.com homepage as well. And now we're going to turn it over to Capo Dave William, our founder and host and luthier.
Thanks, Daphne. The next drawing will be December the 14th. Looking forward to that. And this is the latest, after 34 prototypes, this is pretty much settled on the end of the line, arrived at this secondary bridge approach, which is working out real well. I don't believe this has ever been done anywhere before. At least I can't find any guitars built like this. So that is what will be given away on December the 14th. And actually, Bet Paget has sent me her Dandy, which she won last year, and it's being remanufactured to that spec, and I'll be sending that out to her shortly. But I wanted to say something about there might be some folks out there who would like to play on Open Mic America, but they're not really songwriters. But there's a way you can play on the show. We have what are called heritage songs. A song that's written before 1925 doesn't have any copyright issues. And there are many, many great songs written during that period of time. So if you're a person that plays at a pretty high level and would like to be on the show, apply and send a video of you playing one of those songs, and we'll get you on the show. Of course, that applies to our players as well. So think about that. And that's all I have right now, so we can go on with the show.
There. Okay, on with the show. There we go. I was just talking to myself there for a minute. Thank you so much, Dave. And now we're going to go to Los Angeles, California to hear Kevin Keslow. And Kevin likes to play live at Kulak's Woodshed on Monday nights, and an Unurban Cafe on Friday nights. He also likes to play online, other virtual events, the Growler Monday nights, Fiddler's Crossing Wednesdays, Far West Campfires, where he co-hosts on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. So welcome to Open Mic America. Kevin, take it away.
Thank you very much, Daphne. Oh gosh, I got so excited when I thought you were going to say that everybody who plays on the show gets a free guitar. That was super exciting, but that's nice anyway. To be in the drawing is great.
You might win one.
I know, right? And I don't even play the guitar, but maybe that would be the impetus. So as you heard from Daphne, I have spent a lot of time, as I imagine most of you have, at open mics. of various stripes. And there's an old adage about writing that you should write what you know. So that's where this song came from. A lady with a classic Martin gives me a hug as she walks in. Haven't seen her in a month or two. I'm glad she's back again. She's got this funny song about a one-night stand with a guy who snored too loud. Now I know there's at least one friendly face in the crowd. Well, crowd might be an overstatement. Looks like maybe 25. Heroes of the coffee shops trying to keep our dreams alive. We take our turns, pack our gear up, and peel off one by one. We'll be down to a handful by the time the night is done. It all depends on when your name gets called, whether you're playing for the 25 or the last die-hard 4. It's just the luck of the draw at this open mic tonight. 10 minutes in the spotlight. If I get it right, the audience will cheer me. Maybe someone big will hear me at this open mic tonight. The next guy up is pretty good. He's been coming here for years. His songs are all well written, his delivery sincere. Sounds a little like John Denver, and he plays a mean guitar. With a couple of breaks, he could have been a country star. It all depends on when your name gets called, whether you're playing for a sold-out arena or no one at all. It's just the luck of the draw, but it's open mic tonight. 10 minutes in the spotlight. If you get it right, the audience will cheer you. Maybe someone big will hear you at this open mic tonight. And then my turn comes and I give it all I've got. In the room some are listening, most are not. Tell myself I'm never coming back, like I said last week and the week before that. But you know next week I'll be here when it's open mic tonight. 10 minutes in the spotlight. If I get it right, oh, the audience will cheer me, or maybe let us buy you a beer, me. Maybe anyone will finally hear me at this open mic tonight.
Yeah. Hear you. We're all listening.
Oh,
I gotta say this right now before I forget. I imagine there's an entire theater piece, like a musical, on Broadway, and that is the opening number, and the topic is open mics. There you go.
There you go. You are not the first person to suggest that, by the way. But no, there's no musical.
It must mean it's true.
not yet.
There's no musical yet. That's right. You never know. Okay. Well, thank you very much. So this is a song about a character called a Gombeen Man. Well, sort of tangentially about a Gombeen Man, and that requires a little explanation, I find, because it's an unfamiliar word. It's an Irish term for what we might call a loan shark, and they did a lot of damage back in the 19th century during the Great Hunger. When the blight wiped out the potato crop in 1845, my Mary cried, "Dear Thomas, tell me how can we survive? With 2 young wains and the cupboards bare, whatever shall we do? I said we'll have to borrow from the Gombeen man to see us through. Oh, Thomas, know that Gombeen man's a devil. He feeds on misery. Once his greedy claws are in, we'll never more be free. But with no crop to eat or sell, oh, what choice had I? Without a loan from the Gombeen man, sure and we would die. And oh, how he frowned as he counted out that money. Oh, how he smiled when the note was in his hand. And there outside his door I passed by 20 more, all waiting for the Gombeen man. We shivered through the winter, our poor babes were skin and bone. What little I could earn went for interest on the loan. To keep our bellies full, we boiled nettles for our tea, and ate the leaves and the branches of the weeping willow tree. I plowed the fields and planted when the season turned to spring. I did my best, but once again the blight took everything. Mary asked the Gombeen man to grant more time to pay, but in a scornful voice he told her, not a single day. And oh, how she wailed when the hunger took our Nellie. Oh, how she grew quiet when we buried little Dan. She wouldn't speak at all, sat staring at the wall and waiting for the Gombeen man. When they came to put us out, I begged have pity on my wife. He sneered behind his thugs as Mary rushed him with her knife. She stabbed a thug who blocked her path. I heard his dying rail, but the Gombeen man was laughing as they carried her to jail. On the day before her hanging, I saw Mary in her cell. I brought along a priest and a rosary as well. Mary, love, it's time for saving your immortal soul. She took my hands between the bars and fiercely whispered, no. And oh, how I begged her to give her last confession. Oh, how I wept when she told me of her plan. She said, I know to hell I'm cursed, but at least I'll get there first and be waiting for the Gombeen man. She said, oh, I'll be waiting for the Gombeen man.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
Really good.
goodness. Wow, Kevin. Oh, that deserves a big long conversation with Robert Edgar. So here we go.
Well, how fortunate he's at hand then.
Yeah, I think he's right here. Hey, where did you come up with the reference to the Gombeen man?
You know, many years ago, before I was writing songs at all, I read the book Trinity by Leon Uris, and
Mhm.
the Gombeen men get mentioned a couple of times in there, and and so I had that. And then when I started writing songs, I remembered, and I have what I call a trickster muse. My muse poses like problems for me. And so in this case, it was that's an awkward word, gombeen. It's weird sounding, it's strange, and I wonder if you can write a song with that in it. So that's what inspired me to work on it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. It makes me think because Gombe, it sounds almost like a diminutive,
Mm.
and to have that be such a cruel soul uh, is something to work with in itself, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's from the Gaelic. And so there's a similar sounding word in Gaelic that's just gotten borrowed into Irish
uh-huh.
English. So
Yeah. Yes, of course. The diminutive would be in English. How are you doing with the fires down there, if I may ask?
you know, the fires are just they're just a very slow rolling nightmare. I mean, they're we're fortunate that we were not very close to the fires where I live, but I know many people who've lost their homes and many other people whose houses didn't burn, but they can't live in them. That's actually a lot of people are in that
Yeah.
situation, and it's unclear when they're going to be able to go back. So it is and building back is a whole other kind of thing. What's going to be the rules about that, and how do they get the area cleared so that it's safe for people to live there? It's really affecting so many people. So, thanks for
Yeah.
asking.
I grew up in Florida, and I'm north of you now in California, but the effect of all this on insurance for houses is uh, is going to be something to deal with for all of us as time goes forward.
Yeah,
Um,
and these fires were really so much farther into the city than we've
yeah,
ever really seen. I mean, these are not like woodsy neighborhoods. These are just like developed neighborhoods that look like any place else in suburban America. So the fact that the fires came down had so much of an impact on houses there has really come as a shock.
yeah,
And
we're getting this as our politics switch. So if I may say so, we seem to be rotting from the inside. Also, as the like the flames coming into the city. It's these things are close now to all of us. There's I am sure some songs in all of this as that we're all heading for.
yeah, I wrote a song a few years ago about the town of Paradise, um,
Yes.
which you'd be familiar with. So the town of Paradise burned flat to the ground. And I don't know. I thought if the universe wanted to send out a message to us like burning paradise to the ground, surely is very heavy-handed. And
Yeah.
I thought I couldn't pass up the idea to write a song, but it's too soon. I don't play that song right now. It's a little too soon to go
The
there for me.
Speaking of that, the people who lived next door to our house here had lived next door in Sunnyvale, California, had lived there for maybe 30, 40 years. And they moved to Paradise. They sold their house and moved to Paradise about 8 months before that fire went through there. Just, it's heartbreaking. And
Yeah.
it's still a story that is unfolding. And of course, the reality side of this is even worse than the story, I'm afraid, on that. Um, the How is the music scene? Here's a question that I think might be relevant. Sometimes when these things happen, it's not when you can write about it. It sometimes it takes a while for it
Sure.
for yourself to stabilize to be able to do that. Do you think have any feelings about that as a songwriter there?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I move to write very close to the event. But when John Prine died, I wrote a song that night, and I very rarely write a song in a sitting like that. That's not something I do very much, but I usually work them. But that song hit me that night, and I wrote it and recorded it that night. After, it wasn't very long after the fires, after the campfires, it was called, that burned down Paradise. It wasn't very long after that I wrote that song. But yeah, you're right. I mean, sometimes you just aren't in the right headspace to write things. And I do write songs to process things. After my mother died, I wrote a song about her, but that song, I didn't start it for months, and it actually took me months. But it was interesting when I first started performing that song, I couldn't get through it without tearing up, but by the time I'd finished writing it and made all my revisions and stuff, it actually had really helped me work through some of my grief about my mother. So,
Yeah, yeah, some are like that. Thank you. Thanks for talking, and thanks for playing. Nice piano playing, but also I
oh,
didn't
thank you.
mention, but
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm enjoying the show.
great. See you later, Kevin. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, thank you for your wonderful songs, Kevin. Glad you joined us on Open Mic America. And now we're going to go hear from Anne Sandstrom from Burlington, Massachusetts. She likes to play at the North Reading Community Coffee House in Reading, Massachusetts. And she told me how you pronounce it. So I did it fine, didn't I? Reading, yes. Okay, you have the stage.
Thanks, Daphne. So this first song was inspired by the isolation that I think we all felt during the lockdown part of the pandemic. This is called Only Me. Watching from the sidelines, writing with no bylines. I'm a ghost with a pen, out here on the fringes. All I've ever been is who I am. I'm only pretending to live this larger life you see, when everything ending and everything still. I'm only me. Faces and embraces, searching for small traces of sincerity, balancing on ledges, circling round the edges of society. I'm only pretending So this next song was written after a somewhat recent, very large disappointment that I think many of us felt, and was my first attempt at trying to figure out, now what? Now what do we do? This is called Where To Now. This world is cold when it turns its back on you. You're bought and sold if you're not the wealthy few. You're not like them, you've never been. Don't you turn hard in the sway of wicked wind. May you be wise with a heart that's true. Hope when it dies threatens the likes of you. You dared to dream, though some said you were naive. You swam upstream, you were so eager to believe. You linger long by your sad door. It's all gone wrong, just like it did before. May you be wise with a heart that's true. Hope when it dies threatens the likes of you. So where to now, as it all burns down to ash? You don't know how you can fix the broken past. You'll find your way, you'll find the truth. In darkest days there's still a light that shines in you. May you be wise with a heart that's true. Hope when it dies threatens the likes of you. Hope when it dies ruins the likes of you.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, very nice.
Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. I loved it when that low string came in too. That was beautiful. Okay, Robert, are you ready to talk to Anne? There he
Oh,
is.
absolutely.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
Hi, Anne. I'm fine. How are you doing?
Hanging in there. It's about as good as one gets these days, huh?
Yes, and that's what a thing to be swimming through this particular mess.
Yes. May you live in interesting times. I'm ready for boring.
Yes, right. Well, that is the Chinese proverb, right? May you live in interesting times. Oh God. The yeah, we're in the middle of it right now, and uh, it, there's very little. I mean, there's so much to say, and there's so it's so hard to say some of it, you know.
Well, this is something that's sort of interesting from a songwriter point of view. And I've gone back and forth between um, feeling muffled because it's like, well, what do I say? What could I possibly say that has any worth in trying um, to deal with all of this? Um, and then sometimes like I have too much to say, and you know,
Yes.
how do you corral all of that? And how do you make it not be a diatribe, not be just anger? How do you
It's
make it say something other than, you know, screaming?
yes, it's the old you come to the old statement. I sent you a letter. It would have been longer, but uh, or it would have been shorter, but I didn't have the time. The first thing our uh, response to something is to be direct and to say it, but that isn't always the most poetic or effective way of saying something.
Well,
And,
especially if you want to reach people who are not necessarily of like minds, how do you do that? Which,
right.
if I knew the answer to that, we wouldn't be in in this situation to begin with, I guess. But
Or even to reach ourselves, you know, is
hmm
if the work that goes into saying something and articulating it correctly is, you know, the work we do as often as songwriters. And
right,
to get it wrong is easy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we have to figure it out ourselves sometimes from kind of structures of words and sentences and work backwards. I have to ask you, and I hope you don't mind, but you're the first person that I've met on here who has um, half a bookcase set up for Thomas Pynchon. I see you're
Oh, well,
down
okay.
there, and
Well,
I wanted to ask as what, if any, effect do you think? Because anyone who's read one, and I see you've got at least 6 or 7 of his books there. That wasn't accidental.
well, actually, I'm not a Pinchon fan. Those are my husband's. He's a big Pinchon fan, and
Well, there you go.
and he did get me to read some, and I I probably should go back now, uh, you know, especially given the current situations, and really reinvestigate, and I think maybe it's worth another try.
I
He
would.
also,
It occurred to me that those might not be your books, but I thought I'd go ahead and plunge in anyway and ask. Gravity's Rainbow was one I read just out of college, and I know that Pynchon is often described as someone who dealt with the uh, dissolution of the protagonist, and
Mhm.
that comes up. That can often be used in song form or something like that.
Well,
Uh,
I think you've inspired me now to go back and sort of mine, not just you know, but to mine Pynchon for maybe a little inspiration. And,
maybe
yeah,
I think
not
you're in.
plagiarism, not but just, you know, maybe a little spark of inspiration.
Yes. Well, we've got so much, as we were saying in our present, that we are inspired by. If one can be inspired by quicksand, I think
Mm,
we've got all the inspiration that we can handle at the moment.
I think so. I do think so.
Uh, the other side of that, of course, is action and well, I keep looking for handles in our present situation. Where are the handles where we can do something um, about our situation? And I don't have an answer for that yet. I know places to look and people to contact, but it's a problem I think for all of us right now. I
Hmm.
mean, we've had wars before, but we've never had them, as I said before, rotting from the inside. on the land we're standing on.
Right.
We've never had this type of instability and problems with the government.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just try to do what we can and always look for more opportunities to try to make a difference. And I've got to say, even having a community like this makes a difference because it's very
Absolutely.
easy to feel um, isolated, overwhelmed, and that you really aren't part of anything anymore. And so having something like Open Mic America and open mics that we all go to becomes even more essential now, where we connect with our community, we connect with people who have empathy the way that you know that we would like. So I think this is more important than ever. So thank you to you, to Daphne, to Dave, to everyone who volunteers to make this a reality, because this is more important than ever.
I so agree. Thank you, and thanks for helping us extend this and make it more meaningful than ever.
Thank you.
Take care, Anne.
Yes, ditto, ditto, Anne. Thank you for all of that. And now we are going to go hear from Cowboy Rex in Phoenix, Arizona. Cowboy Rex has been with us before, and let's see what he's got for us tonight.
Okay. Hi, guys. Great to be here. My answer to all of that is to sing love songs. So here's 2 love songs. Making trouble, making trouble in the afternoon. Making loving in the night. You make me wonder if I'm losing you. Then you make everything alright. I wanna know if this is really love. You say it's just too soon to tell. All I know is that you're beautiful in your heart and mine as well. Just like the mountains roll on to the plains, just like the oceans kiss the sand. It's only natural, that's how I feel every time I hold your hand. But I wanna know if this is really love. You say that only time can tell. All I know is that you're beautiful in your heart and mine as well. Girl, I love the way you fit your jeans. I love the fragrance of your hair. And I love that little song that you sing when you think that I'm not there. Are you the love I have been looking for? You smile and say, boy, can't you tell? All I know is that you're beautiful in your heart and mine as well. Are you the love I have been longing for? Your smiling eyes say, can't you tell? All I know is that you're beautiful in your heart and mine as well. Yes, all I know is that you're beautiful in your heart and mine as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow, some really great guitar playing there, Cowboy.
Thanks, you guys. So in Phoenix, they have one of the neighboring towns, which is Glendale. They have a yearly folk festival. It's a pretty big deal. They have about 200 people that or acts that play. It goes on for 2 days, and I got to play this afternoon and raced back here so I could get here to do this. I just made it. This is another kind of a love song. Deep in the twilight, she sits all alone, and she's lonely. The lights are all out, the laughter of the children is gone. That's when she takes from her tattered, torn heart raggedy memory of a time she was loved, bringing tears to a blue button eye. She's just a Raggedy Ann, waiting for a Raggedy Annie. Not much more than a toy, played with but seldom loved. She's just left on a shelf, feeling as ragged as can be, waiting for someone to share in a raggedy love. She remembers the way that he smiled when he said she was lovely, and the way that he held her that made all her cares fade away. But she tries hard to forget how ragged he looked when he told her how he hated to leave, how he wished that somehow he could stay. And she's remembering a time when loving had made her feel shiny and new. But now she's all alone and wondering if she'll spend her whole life through just a raggedy end, waiting for a raggedy Annie. Not much more than a toy, played with but seldom loved. She's just left on a shelf, feeling as ragged as can be, waiting for someone to share in a raggedy love. She's just a raggedy Ann. She's just a raggedy Ann. Thanks, you guys.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you for your love songs. Ah. And now, conversation with Robert coming up.
Okay.
Those are absolutely lovely, and the blending of your voice, your lyrics, and the wonderful playing is it comes through as one piece. You know, it's really nice that way.
Oh, thanks.
On that. What's the do you have a lot of other folks there in Phoenix that you play with?
Oh yeah, hundreds.
Uh-huh.
I'm one of the founders of Arizona Live Music Cooperative, and we have a weekly open mic in which people from all over town and all over the country, because we have a lot of snowbirds that come here, so we get to play with hundreds of people. You know, so I can't remember what the tally is now, but something like thousands of different people have played across our stage. So.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. It is such a wonderful blessing to be able to provide a space like that for people to be able to come and do what we do, and in an environment where they feel that's life affirming, and where we love everybody that comes in there, and they feel it. So it makes it good for everybody. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's something that you have if it's physical and you're actually seeing you're there with the folks. There's all everything that is extended beyond what we're able to do with the open mics online. So that if you can, there's a lot of the personal that you can work out there that's just nice.
It's different, but I'll tell you, my experience with open mic, this kind of venue, is actually been very positive, and I feel as though I'm friends with people that I've known on Zoom shows that I've been on, as well as I know my neighbors that I can walk over and talk to. I've been in their living room for weeks, months, years, and so and sometimes they show up here in person, and it's like I already know them. It's the coolest thing.
Well,
One of the
I'm sorry, go ahead.
one of the real blessings of the pandemic was this silver lining of our being able to do music this way. Speaking of that, I got to tell you that you can see my, I don't know if you can see what that says. This is my, I was at the Glendale Folk Festival and they give you a name tag, and I'm glad they did because now I know who I am. Just in case I forget, I can just look in the mirror, but I can't read
And there you
backwards. That's the problem.
That's right. When we
This is,
really look at
yep, you what?
ourselves,
Yep,
we see ourselves backwards. Sometimes that's someone I forget who it is. It said that well, life is strange, but you have to live it backwards, and it is problematic. Yeah, I remember talking with Dave and Daphne some many months ago about the online thing, and one of the aspects is that we're in everyone's living room. I mean, it's
very
I
intimate.
mean, you pick up a lot. Of course,
Yeah.
I did just
You read the
accuse
titles
Anne
of
of
the
reading these books that she
Anne's
didn't
books,
read.
right?
But it's a good
What
guess.
a sneak! Yeah, it really is pretty wonderful.
So what's coming up in Phoenix for music in the next month or so?
I don't know. Yeah, all I know is every Monday night I have to put all my stuff together and put on my show, and there's lots and lots of open mic venues in town, and of course there's all kinds of professional stuff. So
Uh-huh.
I don't have a whole lot of time to do anything but what I do. So I was lucky to be able to do the folk festival, but we have a profoundly disabled granddaughter that lives with us,
Yeah.
and so we kind of tag team when one of us needs to go do something, and I can't. And my wife has a home business, so she does bookkeeping and income taxes, and parts of the year she's very busy, and I can't go anywhere. So
Right.
all I know that's going on is what I'm doing.
Yeah, you have a good music museum there also in Phoenix, do you not?
Oh yeah, the MIM. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that place is amazing.
Yeah, I've been there
Not only
once.
a good museum, but an amazing music museum, but also a terrific venue.
Uh-huh.
They have about a 250 seat auditorium that you wouldn't believe the people that show up there to play. It's really cool.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, I visited there. I have actually the guy who taught me how to play guitar lives now in Phoenix. And um, visited him and went through the museum there and saw that. I was really
Crazy.
impressed. It was
Yeah.
lovely.
It's something you can't do in one day.
No, I
There's
bet.
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. They've got musical instruments from everywhere, literally in the world.
And really well done presentations
Uh-huh.
for for it all.
And Elvis Presley's guitar and Dwayne Eddy's guitar. I can't believe you can reach out and touch Dwayne Eddy's guitar. So cool.
Excellent. All
So
right.
probably most people on this Zoom don't even know who Dwayne Eddy is.
No, with this group, I'm not sure. They probably do, but
Maybe a
yes.
few.
But there's
I find myself having that problem quite a bit. I'll say something and it's like crickets. People don't even know what
right.
I'm talking about.
Here's a reference. Everyone will laugh at this one. Yeah.
Well,
That's
I got a laugh today because I had one of the songs I did at the open mic has yodeling in it, and I always say, okay, all you guys who like to yodel, this is your chance. We're all going to yodel together. And I said, everybody who likes to yodel, raise your hands. No hands go up. Right? I said, well, here's your chance to learn how to yodel.
That's right. Everyone likes to learn something.
Yeah.
We're going to do learning yodeling today.
If you're a cowboy singer, you got to know how to yodel.
Yeah. I bet that's a prereq. That makes sense. Hey, great talking to you. I always appreciate your music when I hear you on here.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks a lot. And I'll see you again.
Well, thank you so much, Cowboy Rex. I have to confess, I can't yodel and I don't know who Dwight Eddy is. So, but
Dwayne,
it sounds like something that something I should find out. So thank you for that.
all you have to do is Google YouTube, and you'll see all kinds of videos of Dwayne. It's Dwayne Eddy.
Oh, Dwayne. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he was a guitarist in the 50s,
Okay.
rock and
I'm
roll
on it.
guitarist. Yeah.
I got my assignment from Cowboy Rex. Thank you. Oh, and now taking us home is Bet Paget. And Bet hails from Raleigh, North Carolina, and her favorite places to play are the Coffee House at the Unitarian Universalist in Raleigh and the virtual open mic at the Folk Project Monday Night Song Circle. And she just finished a tour through Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and she played at the Folk Project's Troubadour Series. And she will be playing at a house concert coming up on March 22nd in Durham. And if you want info, go to Facebook. Pretty soon it will be there. All right, Bet, take us home.
So the third anniversary of the Russian invasion into Ukraine was just a few days ago, so I thought I would sing this song, which my husband Bill suggested that I combine the Ukrainian national anthem and our national anthem. So I found a translation for the words of their national anthem, and I listened to their national anthem, which is very Slavic sounding. And I was putting the two together when I heard Zelensky give a speech, a very inspiring speech about the war. And so I used a lot of his words in this song as well. This is called We Stand Together. Ukraine's freedom has not perished, nor her glory gone. Upon her sons and daughters, fate shall smile once more. Enemies will vanish like dew in the sun, and once again they will rule a free land of their own. Smoke. Citizens seek shelter, taking nothing but hope. Raging missiles target children, and helpless in the strike, strong-willed Ukraine continue to fight. What goes on in the mind of a madman, a barbaric, unhinged thief? We know his motive for causing so much grief. Ukraine as a nation has formed a single fist. They won't flee or fall, they guard democracy. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gay proof through the night that right is stronger than might, and the blue and the yellow are still there. On the shore dimly seen through the mists of the deep, where the foe's haughty missiles are exploding, there is something stronger than greed, something mightier than force. There are some things that bombs can't destroy, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gay proof through the night that right is stronger than might, and the Ukraine spirit is still there. They will lay down soul and body to show that they are one. Victory will be known in the silent Russian guns. Ukraine's freedom has not perished, nor glory gone. They will rule, no one will take their land.
Oh my goodness, that, wow.
Stunning.
What a wonderful guitar part. Gorgeous.
It's a combination of their national anthem and our national anthem, and some other notes. So, anyhow, so after watching Friday's meeting in the Oval Office, I got to thinking that maybe this would be a good song to sing about, well, it was based on Carl Sagan's book called The Pale Blue Dot. In 1972, the spacecraft, the Voyager, was sent out into space to take pictures of deep space and send them back to Earth. And in 1990, Carl Sagan was on the NASA team, and they were sending pictures back to Earth from what point they were in space, and the craft was getting ready to turn around and go back to deeper into space when Carl Sagan, so wait a minute, just turn around, take one more picture. And when they sent it back to Earth, there were these rays of light, and in one of the rays there was this teeny weeny little blue dot, which of course was Earth. And he wrote this missive and then subsequently a book about the Earth and what it has seen in its billions of years, the bloodshed, the love, the wars, the hate, the love. And then he talks about how we treat humans, how we treat each other, and how we should treat our pale blue dot. So I just paraphrased his missive, and this is called Pale Blue Dot. Take a look at that dot, that here, that home. Everyone that you've loved, everyone that you've known, every speck of dust a giant creature has roamed on that pale blue dot. Look again at that dot, it's where lovers once stood. Wars were fought, men were killed, spilling rivers of blood. Every act that is kind and those of hatred were done on that pale blue dot. And in the scheme of things, we're microscopic beings on that dot. If kings who conquer lands and every president would stand where they could see that huge expanse, would they honor the dot? Look again at that dot, it's the only world we know. It took billions of years to let life and grow. From a distance it's so beautiful as it glows. Treat it kindly, our pale blue dot.
Yeah,
Really beautiful.
beautiful. Thank you, Bet. And now let's hand you over to Robert.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Robert.
Lovely, absolutely lovely. And thank you for that first song. Thank you for both of them, but, but thanks for the first one. That is so hard to do, to come up with the right song or a right song in a political moment, I think. And I think you did a wonderful job there.
Yeah. I did that one I guess 3 years ago, right after the invasion. And I sing it, I think, with more conviction now than I did 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's well, you had the two juxtaposed, but who of us would have guessed that one of the colors would have switched to its opposite in that? What a thing.
Yeah, right. And I'm thinking in that last line, where Ukraine says no one will take their land, and here the United States, our home country, wants their mineral rights. We're going to take their land. It's just, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Enough said.
I'll start another perspective on that. I studied electronic music in college for 6 years. And one of the pieces, in fact, the piece that was my favorite kind of model for what it could be, was a piece by Karl-Heinz Stockhausen called Hymnen. And Hymnen is German for anthem. And his the piece itself is a composition where he's drawing from bits of anthems from all over the world and combining them electronically and in the piece. And it's a long piece, and he has an orchestra too that he had while he was alive. Performances with both the electronic and the orchestras going in there. But the idea of juxtaposing the anthems to speak to the countries is powerful, and yours did it very beautifully, I think.
Right. Well, his combining more countries shows how we can unify, But someone mentioned Patti Smith earlier, and I got my translation from Patti, who said that she had watched the news one night and watched a woman who was sweeping glass out of her apartment window after a bomb had shattered the glass, and she was singing their national anthem. And it touched Patti so much that she wanted to learn the Ukrainian national anthem. And so she found a translation, and she opened a concert with singing that. And so that touched me,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, what can I say? We'll keep burrowing our way through this.
I think Anne, touched upon, what can we do to get through some of our problems, and I think music is the answer, at least for me. I know a lot of people who write to help get through some hard times, and we all do.
Yeah, I do too, but I admire the beauty with which you accomplished that with that piece. That's something to be proud of. It's very nice.
Thank you.
Politically, I'll just add very quickly as an aside that as these online song groups help us get together, and it's always good, I think, to join and communicate and commune with others any way we can, in person or otherwise. I would also throw in a note for Indivisible, which is a political group that is available throughout the U.S. and provides some handles for people locally. So if anyone here is looking for another way to learn about what's going on, you might try Indivisible nearby.
We'll try.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Open Mic America, for giving us a place to to sing our songs and speak our voice.
Thanks for helping it be so worthwhile. Thank you, Beth. It's always nice to hear you.
Same here.
Thank you very much, Bet, and everybody. We've now reached the end of this part of our show, and we're going to be saying goodbye to people one by one and everyone together. So I would like to thank, you can wave when we say your name. I would like to thank Bill Palmer, Wendy Watson, Diane Battistello, Dave Fiebert, Kevin Kelso, Ann Sandstrom, Cowboy Rex, and Bet Paget tonight. Also, thank you, Robert, for your wonderful interviews. And thank you, Dave Williams, for, of course, being our founder, but also for really good engineering that's working great. You can find archives of the show on Open Mic America. You can also find, print t-shirts such as the one that Capo Dave is wearing. If you go to Open Mic America, there's a page for that. You can find local open mics there. So take a peek and use it as a resource. We are always here the first and the third Sundays of every month. So our next show will be Sunday, March 15th, same time and same station. And now it is time for everybody to wave goodbye. Whoops.
If you meet me at the corner of Russell and Albina, just about a block from Mississippi Avenue, I'll take you to a house where they hang carpets on the wall. And if we go there on a Sunday, there's a song I'll take you through.